You can't build what you don't trust. You just can't. You absolutely can't. And so this week, that is why we are going to be telling you about the journey and the things that is going on. We have something special for business owner, entrepreneurs, something that Queen A is grateful to be a part of and bring to the community and the environment, something that has not ever been done before, at least from, my research and my knowledge. If I'm wrong, let me know. And there's nobody better to bring this than the clarity coach herself. So for those of you who don't know, first off, let me thank you for joining us today. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe and follow, whether you're watching me on Facebook or on YouTube, okay? I'll make sure that y'all go ahead and do that. But now let's jump into it. So if you don't know, I got to tell y'all. So just in case y'all ain't seen the post out there, and I know y'all been running around all day, but let me tell y'all about what we are bringing to the city. We are bringing the first annual Clarity Kickback Networking Celebration. Now, what this is this is this place for business owner, entrepreneurs to come together, to network, kick back, have some fun, get some clarity, but most importantly, to be honored and awarded and celebrated. We want to celebrate you. Yes, we do. One of the things that I noticed when I looked out there, so I did my research, guys, and I was looking out there. And the one thing I noticed with business and owners is that, guess what? They're being awarded for, numbers. They're being awarded for who was the fastest. They're being awarded for, even cleanliness. But nobody is being awarded for clarity, specific clarity. So what we are going to do is we are going to be honoring 3 businesses that we feel like deserve to be spotted for clarity. That means that these 3 businesses that we are going to be honoring, that means that you can call 3 different people, can call them and ask a specific question and talk to 3 different people, but they'll get the same answer because everybody is on the same page. This also means that the communication with these companies are amazing. And most importantly, what it means for you is that we are going to make sure that which company really truly represents you, what companies truly respect you, what companies truly have your best interest in heart. And them are the companies that we want to reward because we see you. We see where the gap is. We see where it's missing at. And we want to let you know that you are respected, that you are honored. And most importantly, we want to let you know that we appreciate you. Okay? So make sure if you are in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, now this is the very first one. So if you're in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, make sure that you reach out to me if you feel like you know a business that deserves to be nominated for clarity. You feel like you know a business that, hey, you know what? Every time I go to this business, they have the great customer service. They have great communication. I could talk to them no matter how many people I talk to in their business. They all are on the same page. If you think you know a business like that, inbox Queen A, okay? Because we are going to put them to the test and we are going to see who deserves to be spotted for clarity. And no, I'm not going to tell y'all how we're going to be judging it, okay? So y'all not going to be able to, to cheat and see how we are going to be nominating the 3 businesses that are going to be spotted for clarity, okay? Let me say this as well. No business is too small to be honored. If you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, we don't care if you are owner of a Fortune 500 company, or if you are a business owner and you're just starting out, make sure that if you feel like, you know what, my business should be spotted for clarity because you feel like you have the best communication skills. You feel like that you give back to your environment. Make sure that you reach out and let us know that you would like to be nominated, okay? Because we are going to make sure at the end of this, not this month, okay? So at the end of next month, we will be actually letting the 3 businesses that we choose, we'll be reaching out to them and letting them know, hey, we chose your business to be spotted for clarity, because we want to make sure that y'all know, for one, on time enough to block the date out on your calendar, which is June 27th from 3 to 6. It is going to be at Cohatch in Kenwood, and I can't wait to do a video showcasing and giving y'all the behind the scenes tour of it, because when I say, y'all already know Queen A don't do number bring y'all the best of the best. That's what we do, because we truly believe in you. This is not about us. This is not about, so this ain't about S&B Sense and Queen A. This night is going to be all about honoring businesses, all about honoring you for your clarity, your communication. Okay. So I just want to say that before we moved any further. Okay. Before we moved on with anything else, I just want to make sure that I put that out there for anybody who's unaware of that. Okay. Who may not understand. And if you want to register for this event, if you want to be a part of this event, y'all, make sure that you comment on this post right here. Comment on this post right here. Make sure you comment. Let me see what we're going to comment. We are going to come back. You know what? Comment first. First. So if you want to be the first, right? You want to be a part of first to be in the audience, to see companies get nominated. If you want to be part of first, make sure that you comment first so I can send you the link so you can register. Okay, especially if you're going to be in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. So the first one we're doing right here is in Cincinnati, Ohio, but eventually we're going to be breaking off. Okay, so we're starting in Cincinnati, Ohio, because, of course, why not start here? This is my hometown. This is my home. This is where I'm from, Cincinnati. So we had to bring it here first, and we had to do it big here first. All right. So once again, if you know somebody who should be nominated, make sure that you inbox me. If you feel like your business should be nominated, make sure that you inbox me, because we're going to put you all to the test. And then at the end of next month, we are going to be reaching out to 3 businesses who we feel like deserve to be spotted and nominated for clarity and honored. Okay. And that way we're going to, and I'm going to let y'all know, make sure y'all come, because we're going to have some fun. Yes, there will be light refreshments there. There will be alcohol beverages there as well. Okay. So it's going to be some light drinking. We ain't going to have nobody just, we ain't going to be drinking it up. Just light drinking and refreshments and food. Okay. But now I just had to tell y'all that. So if you want to be a part of that, comment first. I'll go ahead and send you the link for that. But let's talk about this right here. Now, how did I get to this point? How did I get to the point to where I went from working a 9 to 5, leaving my 9 to 5, and now being able to honor businesses for clarity and spot them for clarity? And not only being able to honor them, being able to honor them in a most special way, a unique way that a lot of businesses are not even paying attention to. How did I get to that point? I'll tell you how I got to that point. I got to this point with this week's theme, trust. So this week is all about trust. And one of the main things that a lot of business owners and a lot of entrepreneurs have to learn how to do is to trust themselves. Trust the process. Okay? Even if it means that you may have to say no. Let me say that again. Even if it means that you may have to say no. See, a lot of y'all, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners can't build something because they don't trust they know. They don't trust they know. What do I mean by they don't trust they know? They don't trust saying that, no, I don't have to be a part of, like, okay, for instance, me. What I did was I understood that every time I would go in, I was working third shift. I wanted so bad to be a clarity coach. I didn't know it at the time it was a clarity coach. I just knew it was a coach. But I knew I wanted to speak. But every time I would get invited to a networking event or something would happen where I could have a chance to possibly even speak, I couldn't ever go because I was either tired because I had to go to work. I mean, any third shifters out there? That's like Queen A. Like, I was a third shifter. I love third shift. So what happened for me was I was tired. Like, I was just aggravated. Because one of the things I understood was I'm like, I'm making all these people money and they giving me pennies. And I don't want pennies. I always felt like I was deserving of more than pennies. Now, I'm not saying this for nobody who just wants to be an employee, because everybody is not, meant to be a boss, and everybody's not meant to be an employee, if that makes sense. Okay. Somebody has to be an employee and somebody has to be a boss. That's why it's called teamwork, make the dream work. With that being said, okay. But for me, I was always a lead. Like, even when I was young, me and my little cousins in there would make dances and everything. And I always had to be the lead. And they would be like, why she always got to be in the lead? Why she always got to be the captain? Or why she always got to be in charge? And I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but that was me. That's always been me. My mom said I was a serious baby. It's just always been me. One of the things I learned from being me, in them times, was that I knew that I was destined for more, because I'm like, every time I worked for businesses, I always came in first place with numbers. I ran warehouses for other people, but just nothing for myself. And for the longest, I'm going to say 40 years, well, not fully 40 years, because I didn't work for 40 years, right? Let's just face it. I'm only 43. So, but for 30 years, we'll say 30 years. For 30 years, I didn't trust myself to say no about a 9-to-5, because I was so fearful of what the world would think. I was so fearful of what I learned in school. Like, I was just so fearful that it wasn't the way that I grew up and that the school was teaching and everybody else was teaching me. Like, it just wasn't the way I was learning. I didn't see nobody, breaking away from the 9-to-5 and just going for it, except for my dad. Like, and I give credit to my dad on how he was part of the reason why I learned to have a lot of trust in myself, because I would see my dad. I remember seeing my dad get up every a.m. And I'm talking about every a.m. And when he get up, he does his exercise, he reads his book, he meditates, he prayed. And I always would walk past his room and be like, man, my daddy's up, And after a while, I just knew like he was up. And the one thing I loved about my father was I always see him going back and forth to work. But after a while, he started his own business. And no matter what happened, he stayed consistent. And in him doing that, it actually did something in me. It made me want to do more, because I'm like, man, my daddy got his own company. And I always admired that. I always felt like I was destined to have my own company, because my dad had his own company. But I still went to work doing a 9-to-5 because I didn't know how to branch off and start for myself, because I didn't actually, like, something in me kept saying, don't go to 9-to-5, do your research and, try to start your own company. But because that wasn't what was normal, and because I still had bills to pay, let's be honest, I had bills to pay, and I just was so fearful. I didn't trust that if I left, that I would be able to make the funds to pay the bills. I mean, that's why, let's face it, that's why a lot of us stay at the 9-to-5s, because we don't see or trust that we can make the income to replace the 9-to-5. And that's where I was. And then, so now I done ran warehouses, I done been managers. Now, fast forward, I was working at this company, making transmission parts. Now, as I'm working to making these transmission parts, the whole time, what really started was I was throwing metal. Okay, so I had one position, I transferred to another position, and I talked about a whole story about that transition process. That's on my on YouTube. You can find that video. But I was working at another position, and I wanted more money, and they had put the position on the board. I was at a warehouse, and I don't know if y'all know, but that a lot of warehouses, what they'll do is they'll have like a bulletin board with mass different positions on there that you can apply for and things of that nature, that they might have coming up or being open, And so what I did was I applied for a new position. First time I didn't get it, went to somebody else. Second time I did get it. Okay, I was mad about the first time though. Let me tell you, I was mad because it went to somebody who it wasn't supposed to went to, because it was the boss's son or stepson. But that's another story. But needless to say, that didn't work out. They was salty that they even did that, because he didn't work out at all. So next thing you know, they had put the position up there again. I applied. So this time when I applied, guys, let me tell you, this time when I applied for the new position, I end up getting it. So once I got it, I'm excited. I'm geeked. I'm like, okay, I got the new position. That means I got new money coming in, all that. But one of the things I learned real quick was, yes, I had more money, but it came with every time I would go home from this new position, because what this position consisted of was me taking, I don't know if it's any warehouse workers that work with auto parts, you'll know what I'm saying. But you take these dusty metal pieces and you throw them in this machine. And what the machine does is it basically puts this metal on there, sprinkles metal on there. It's metal dust basically. And it binds it to the metal, and it comes out looking shiny. So you throw it in, it's looking rusty, and then it comes out looking shiny. So in the midst of me doing that, every time, y'all know I gotta have my water. So in the midst of me doing that, every time I would go home, I would notice, because when I go home, I would get straight in the shower. I would notice when I'm getting in the shower and I'm wiping my face, I got metal, like this gray metal, all coming off all on my rag. And so then I started digging in my nose, like what the mess, like with tissue, and I'm noticing as I blow my nose and digging in my nose, it's metal coming out my nose. So what that did for me is, for anybody who know me, like, I ain't gonna say I'm the health fanatic, like the biggest health fanatic, but I am big on my health, enough to where that was scary for me. Like, hold on. Because I feel like this, if I'm blowing my nose and it's coming out my nose and it's on the tissue and I'm digging in the tissue, like my nose with the tissue and the metal is coming out, then that means it's going in my lungs. And then I sat back and thought, I'm like, everybody that's in this warehouse, most of them that's been here for years, they have health problems. They had health problems. And they're wondering why they have health problems. And so for me, it was like an eye opener. It was an eye opener. Because it was to me, it was like either that was a time where I told myself either I was going to make myself rich, meaning I was going to go in business for myself, or I was going to make somebody else rich and stay in business for them, right? Because it ain't no way around it. Either you in business for yourself or you in business for somebody else. That's how it go. And if you think you ain't working, if you ain't working, you in business for somebody else, because they basically have to live according to how they want you to live. Okay? So you either in business for yourself or you're in business for somebody else. And that's what I told myself. And for me, it was a no-brainer. I had to be in business for myself. But the problem still was I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust myself enough to know, even when I first went in my nose and blew my nose and seen the metal, I didn't trust myself enough, because I could have just left that day. Had I trusted myself enough, had I believed enough to say, okay, which one is more important, my health, right, or this job? If I believed enough to say and trusted myself enough to say, I could even say, well, you know what? Let me leave this job because it's affecting my health, and let me put in an application for somewhere else because I get another job somewhere else. I could even did that. So it was not necessarily about trusting myself to just be for myself, just even leaving that environment in general. And that's what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs in the beginning, a lot of business owners in the beginning. We had this big thought. We had this big vision. We have these big dreams, but then we don't trust ourselves to take the next step. So we keep going to jobs or places or being around people that's detrimental to our health, being around individuals that may mean us harm. And we know these things, but we'll still keep coming around them because we don't trust the process, because we got so comfortable and we're so used to these situations. But if we was to trust the process enough to pause and really think, guess what? Is it, if we really trust ourselves enough to pause and think, am I ready to, do I really want to make somebody else's business, successful, or do I want to make my own business? Or if we don't pause enough to think, do I want to go somewhere else and see if I can make more money, or do I just want to stay here and be miserable? Do I want to go somewhere else and even make less money and potentially be even more happier? Or do I want to stay here and make more money and be miserable? So these are things that we have to understand, that we have to pause and ask ourselves these questions in order for us to even grow, to take the next step. So we can't get clarity in the next step and move forward in business because we can't even trust ourselves to even make the decision to pause and ask ourselves specific questions. So, right? But we have to pause. And I call it the pause method, where you stop for 3 seconds. It takes 3 seconds. Most of us love our phone. We have it near us at all times, right? We have our phone near us at all times. It takes 3 seconds to pull your phone out and look at it. That's how much it takes to think. But I call it the pause method, because if a lot of us paused and really pondered and asked ourselves fact over fictional questions, we would make different decisions. And it's another thing. A lot of us will answer ourselves these questions, but we won't focus on the fact over the feeling. See, because I'm not a fictionary. So we need to learn how to focus on the fact over the feeling. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs can't get over as well. And that's why they can't build nothing, because you can't get over, you can't get over the fact. Like, you stuck on in your feelings. You got to get to the fact in order for you to build something and move on. I'm just saying. And a lot of us don't trust ourselves to take that next step and focus on the fact. Well, the fact is, maybe I can't get to that next step because I'm just hesitating. Well, the fact is, I don't even know if I can get another job because I never tried. Well, the fact is, it's 10 million other jobs. So 9 times out of 10, I'm destined to find another job. The fact is, like, we got to start saying these things to ourselves. The fact is, I'm sick and tired. I don't really like this job. So the fact is, I need to find another one where I can at least manage it. At least be happy where I'm at. That's a fact. But a lot of us can't get to that point because what I just say, we don't know how to focus on the fact over the feeling. We stuck in our feelings, right? We stuck in our feeling of man, poverty, man, the president, man, the government, man, they want our downfall. We stuck in that, well, it's because I'm black. You know what I mean? If I wasn't black, or if I wasn't this, when the fact is, it's black people, white people, orange people, purple people, you pick it. Well, not literally orange and purple, but y'all get my drift, right? It's successful people of all different shapes, sizes, and colors. But a lot of people can't build nothing in their business because they focused on the feeling and not the fact. And we focus on facts. That's what we focus on, the mental, the fact. So you got to ask yourself this week, what do you need to focus on, right? Like, what fact do you need to focus on so you can get out your feelings and build your empire, right? And if you bold, drop it in the comments. What fact are you going to focus on this week? Well, maybe the fact is that, I got to start getting up earlier. Maybe the fact is I need to be more consistent. Maybe the fact is I just need to apply for another job. Maybe the fact is I need to let go and just trust myself to build my own empire. But what is the fact for you that you need to trust and get out your feelings? Right? We ain't talking about the feelings of, my rent due. Everybody rent due, right? Rent is always doing the first. We ain't focused on your feeling of the government and what they did. We ain't focused on your feelings of the war. We ain't focused on your feelings of the president, and that's why you is stuck. We ain't focused on your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. You shouldn't care about your feelings. Your feelings is going to keep you stuck. Your feelings is the reason why you can't trust yourself. You can't build nothing on your feelings. Feelings keep you stuck. Facts and clarity, it helps you move forward. And a lot of businesses nowadays, They missing this. This is why communication is a no-go. We don't have great customer service no more. No, you walk in there, nobody's saying how you doing. Nobody says thank you. Nobody gives you eye contact. You walk in a Family Dollar, they on their phone, they eating behind the counter. It's just so crazy and wow. It's disrespectful if you ask me when it comes to a business mindset. And that's why we are honoring 3 businesses and starting to spot businesses for having clarity and excellence and communication. That way, individuals can start understanding that's the great business that communicates greatly. That's the business that has clarity. That's the business that you can call, and no matter who you talk to, you're going to get the same answer if you ask the same question. That's what having trust look like. When you stuck in your feelings, you stuck on just money. You just want to build money. See, people that's in their feelings just want to get a bag. I don't teach people how to just, no, we ain't focused on getting a bag. If you want to just know how to get a bag, I'm not the coach for you. I'm not the coach for your company. I'm not the coach that's going to help you and your employees or you and your clients or you and your customers or you and whoever you have, right? Your staff, it don't matter. I can't help y'all get to the next level if the only thing you want them to know how to do is to get to the bag. The first thing we have to know how to do is to trust ourselves. Why? Because if we trust ourselves enough, then we can display that to others. And a lot of us can't communicate because we don't know how to communicate with ourselves. A lot of us don't have trust in others because we don't have trust in ourselves. A lot of us, guess what? Fearful of others because we feel fearful of ourselves. Just think about that for a second. So I'm about to get up off of here, but I really hope y'all got something from this about how you can't build your empire until you learn how to trust yourself. So if you don't trust yourself, you know my mouth dry. You don't trust yourself, y'all heard me? But no, if you don't trust yourself, you ain't building nothing. You playing yourself. You burning the bridge down. See, a lot of y'all, you think trust me, you show up for anybody. That ain't trust. How can you trust yourself when you showing up for everybody who asked you to be there? Everybody who asked you to be there, you showing up for. That ain't trust. Because I can guarantee you some of the people you showing up for don't align with your values. And I'm looking at businesses and I sit back and I'm paying attention and I'm watching y'all. And I can tell you right now, I see businesses that say they stand for one thing, but they actually will connect and do things with businesses that they know don't even align with their values, principles, and goals. So who are you really? Right? So I want y'all to take something from this, is that build you first. And in order to build you first, you have to trust yourself first. And in order to trust yourself first, you need the pause method. Pause and focus on the fact over the feeling. What is the fact that you need to focus on today, right now, because tomorrow don't ever come? Whatever that fact may be for you, because Queen A can't tell you what it is. Like I said, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist, none of that. I don't ever proclaim to be anything but a clarity coach. But only you know what it is for you. So I need you to put all your focus in there, right? Into that right there. What is it for you? Figure that out. Pause. Ask yourself. Figure it out. Focus on that fact. Get out your feelings. So focus, write down the fact. And then what is the feeling that you've been dealing with that's been keeping you from moving forward and getting over that, right? Because it's somewhere, when you write down that fact that's keeping you from moving forward, right? What's the fact? When you focus on, the fact is, I need to get more consistent. Okay, well, when you say that, well, what is the feeling that's keeping you from being consistent? Right? Or keep getting up, right? Or consistent in posting, or consistent in reaching out, or because whatever it is. Maybe the feeling may be that they may say no. Well, then you need to check yourself on that. How can you know if they're going to say no if you never reached out? And then I want y'all to remember this. Everybody can't say no. Everything ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't going to say yes, and everybody can't say no. Let me say that again. Everybody ain't going to say yes, but everybody can't say no. So what is it for you? I hope y'all got something. And also, don't forget, June the 27th, we will be at Cohatch, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you are in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. Okay? The Cohatch in Kenwood. We will be throwing the first annual Clarity Kickback Networking Celebration. We will be honoring 3 businesses, not 1, not 2, but 3 businesses for excellence, communication, and clarity. Okay. If you feel like you know a business that fits that profile, make sure that you inbox me the business. Okay. So we can reach out, and that way we can decide for ourselves, with you, with your help, of course, who is the 3 businesses that deserve clarity. And actually, if you come on the 27th, you'll understand and you'll get to see why I chose the 3 businesses that I choose and why I say they are fit to be spotted for clarity. So once again, my name is Queen A. I am the Clarity Coach. Make sure that y'all subscribe and like this channel. Also, if you know a business that should be spotted for clarity, that should be entered to win, make sure you send them my way. If you are that business that feel like you should be entered to win, because you feel like your business deserves to be spotted for clarity, make sure you reach out to Queen A, because no business is too big and no business is too small to be spotted for clarity. And if nobody else loves you, you already know Queen A does. Later. Mwah.